In this video I mentioned her. But I need you to understand this isn't just about a name being spoken out loud. It's not about views or attention or trying to sound poetic. It's about finally putting into words what my heart has been holding for far too long. When I said her name, I wasn't just mentioning a person, I was honoring a chapter of my life that changed me forever. A chapter written with her laughter, her silence, her presence. Saying her name was a quiet rebellion against forgetting. Because how could I forget someone who taught me how to feel everything, all at once? In this video, I mentioned her because even though we may not be in the same place anymore, even though life has shifted and timelines have parted, the echo of her still lingers in everything I do. It's in the way I pause at love songs. It's in the way I stare a little longer at sunsets, wondering if she still watches them too. She's not just someone I used to know. She's someone I still carry, delicately, like a scar that no longer bleeds, but still burns when touched. I mentioned her because even if the world moves on, I haven't, not completely. There's still a part of me that hopes she'll hear it somehow, not to come back, not to restart, but just to know she mattered. That she still does. That somewhere out here, someone still speaks her name like a prayer, soft and sacred, like it's stitched into the rhythm of their breathing. That someone is me. People say time heals, maybe. But time also rewinds every time I dream. Every time I remember the way she used to look at me when the world felt like too much, and I felt like too little. She had this way of making silence feel safe. And now, in her absence, that same silence feels endless. I mentioned her because I needed to remind myself that what we had was real, that I didn't imagine the way she smiled when she said my name. In this video, I didn't talk about the heartbreak. I didn't talk about the distance or the goodbye. I didn't talk about how hard it is to watch someone you love become someone else's world. No, I talked about her. About the girl who made ordinary days feel like poetry. The girl whose presence felt like a soft light in a room I didn't know was dark until she entered. I mentioned her because not speaking her name felt like pretending it never happened, and I refused to erase her. Some people will scroll past, some will forget, but this video isn't for them. It's for the version of me that loved her fearlessly, the version that still does, quietly, with no expectations. It's for the nights I couldn't sleep, because memories kept knocking. For the mornings I woke up hoping she had dreamt of me too. It's for the what-ifs I never said out loud, and the almosts that still sting. I mentioned her because love like that deserves to be remembered. Not hidden, not denied. She may not be mine anymore, but that doesn't mean I'll stop protecting the place she holds in me. Because real love doesn't disappear. It doesn't fade with time. It just learns how to live quietly, under the surface, still strong, still sacred. So when I say, in this video, I mentioned her, what I really mean is, I remembered her, I honored her. I let the world know that once, there was a girl who made me feel seen, understood, and deeply, deeply loved. And even if she never watches this, especially if she doesn't, I'll keep her memory safe. In every word, every pause, every beat of this story that will always carry her name. And maybe to some, it's just a passing reference, just a name dropped between words and background music, but to me, it's everything. That mention carries years of unspoken emotions. It carries first glances, last hugs, teary silences, and those mid-laugh smiles that made everything feel worth it. Her name isn't just a part of this video, it's stitched into my memories, my habits, my vocabulary of love. I didn't say it for effect. I said it because I couldn't help myself, because there's still a part of me that can't write any sentence about love without thinking of her. I mentioned her, not because I'm stuck in the past, but because some loves don't have an expiration date. Some people leave, but their absence fills every room you walk into. I don't go searching for her in crowds anymore, But when a certain song plays, or I pass by someone with her perfume, or I hear someone laugh the way she did, I pause. That's what real love does. It teaches you to pause in a world that keeps rushing forward. It teaches you that some names aren't just names, they're anchors. You see, mentioning her was my way of telling the universe. She was here. She existed in my story, and not as a side character. She was the plot twist. The chapter I reread in my mind when sleep doesn't come easy. She was the calm in my chaos, and the chaos in my calm. And even though we didn't get the ending we once dreamed of, she still deserves the credit. For every version of me she helped grow. For the love she gave so selflessly, even when I didn't know how to return it properly. In this video, I mentioned her, and I whispered her name like it was holy, because to me, it always was. No matter how much time has passed, or how many changes life has demanded of me, her name still sounds like a prayer and a poem at the same time. I didn't say it hoping she'd hear it. I said it because I needed to, for myself, for the part of me that still hopes she's okay even if it's not with me. And maybe, just maybe, she'll see this one day. Maybe she'll recognize her name tucked between the lines, wrapped in tenderness and care. Maybe she'll smile softly and remember us not with bitterness, but with warmth. Not with regret, but with gratitude. Because even if it ended, what we had was real. It changed us, and that's worth mentioning. That's worth immortalizing in something as small as a video, and as big as a lifetime of memories. Not because I wanted sympathy, not to spark curiosity, but because some names refuse to be buried quietly beneath the surface of moving on. Her name rises like breath in cold air, visible, necessary, real. I've tried to write without her, speak without mentioning her, but it feels like leaving out the part of me that knew how to feel everything deeply. The part that still believes love, even unreturned, even unfinished, is still sacred. There's something strange about remembering someone who's no longer yours. You remember them not as a memory, but like a rhythm your heart still beats in. You remember the way they looked at you when the world was too loud. The way their voice softened when they said your name, like it mattered. And it still matters. So when I mentioned her, I wasn't seeking permission, I was honoring truth. Because love doesn't disappear just because the relationship does. And maybe you'll ask, why still mention her? Because some people carve their initials into your soul without needing to stay, and their absence, it becomes louder than any presence you've known. She was silence and song, she was storm and shelter. And I'd be lying if I pretended she didn't shape the man I am now. I've loved, I've grown, but her fingerprints still linger on the walls I've rebuilt. And when I speak her name, it's not about missing the past, it's about remembering the fire that taught me warmth. In this video, I mentioned her, because even if she never watches it, I needed the world to know that she mattered. Not just to me, but to the version of me who once believed love could heal everything. She taught me that it can't, but also that it doesn't mean it wasn't worth it. She taught me patience in the waiting, grace in the letting go, and strength in the staying soft, even after the storm. If you listen closely to this video, it's not just her name you'll hear. It's my heart whispering through every syllable. It's every sleepless night wrapped in one quiet mention. It's hope, it's heartbreak. It's poetry without rhyme. Because when someone lives in your soul, they don't need to be on camera to exist in your story. And if this video is my way of documenting a journey, then she deserves her place in it. She may never be mine again. She may never walk beside me or hear me say these words. But if love was ever real, then it doesn't die, it just changes shape. It becomes quieter, deeper, and maybe sadder. But still, it remains. So I'll keep mentioning her in the places that matter, in the stories that shaped me, because forgetting her isn't healing, it's denying the truth of who we were. So, if you hear her name here, know this. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't scripted. It was love, still breathing beneath the rubble of what we couldn't hold on to.